We're back here and welcome to another night of racing here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. I'm John Rallis alongside my co-host, the Hall of Famer, Randy Waples, and we've got plenty to be excited about tonight, Randy. We've got 4 eliminations. We've got a Milton Stakes final tonight. And
we got a good Milton Stakes final.
Really good. And it's nice that we have both these two super mares, both sharp, coming into this event. I know the last time we got to see them compete on Canadian soil, I'd say Twinbee Joe Fresh had the advantage, you know, the last time that they competed here and the Roses Are Red. Right now, it seems like advantage Sylvia, but they're not too far off. I mean, these are 2 even mares right now, and that's what makes this rivalry so good.
It is, and then tonight we're going to get to enjoy that, and plus, you know, a little bit of, you know, maybe a little bit of advantage Twinbee Joe Fresh, because I think she's got a much better starting spot.
Yep,
and you know, coming middle of the gate as opposed to the rail here, I think it gives her a little bit of an advantage right off the bat.
Yep.
You know, but this is going to be great. We've seen these two go at it, you know, their entire careers, and it's just like been a seesaw battle back and forth. You know, so you know, just can't wait for act number 2.
Yeah, both coming off nice preps, right? I mean, Sylvia with a qualifying try as well as an overnight victory, and then Twinbee Joe Fresh coming off 2 really good qualifiers. I mean, look, Chris Ryder's done a great job in terms of how he's managed her, you know, in her off time, right? I mean, he's put her into qualify, you know, any time in between stakes engagements, and she's come back razor sharp. So he's done a phenomenal job as well in just keeping her ready for all these marquee events.
Oh, absolutely, you know, and she's and the other thing is too is, I mean, let's give her props. She's just a great mare.
Yep.
You know, we've seen, like I said, you know, Sylvia, I kind of thought there at one point was going to be one of those generational kind of horses, and I still think that she is. But I think that Twinbee Joe Fresh is just as generational. This is going to go down in my memory as the years of Sylvia and Twinbee Joe Fresh.
Yeah, just really fun when we get to see a rivalry like that, and hopefully we can have some more in the coming years in any division, because we really enjoy it. But it's going to be a fun Saturday night. We're looking forward to it as well. But they had some action earlier on at Yonkers as well. That was a busy day for them, obviously headlined by the Yonkers International Trot, and we were excited to see our Canadian hopeful Lexus Cody, obviously Canadian sired, so he was able to represent the red and white. And he really did deliver, Randy. Rail draw to work with for Yannick Gingras and this Burke trainee. And he made the most of it, capturing this $1 million event. Just what a moment for Yannick, Burke. And, you know, it's nice to get the job for the red and white as well.
Yeah, you know, and I listened to Yannick's interview when the girl asked him about this horse. And like he said, he's always been like a really, really incredible horse to drive and the whole deal. But as he's gotten older, now he's become even better of a horse to drive. And I think he is. Like he somehow, it seems to me like he's almost got a way to conserve that energy, even though, you know, Yannick remains aggressive with him. He kind of conserves it, you know what I mean? And he's got a lot of answers for horses that come at him, where before it seemed like, other than the Meadowlands, if he'd go into these big Grand Circuit races, he maybe couldn't cut the mile the way he wanted to and last, but now he can last.
And you know what? There was some concerns about how he would handle a half, though, right? How he would get around Yonkers. I think it was 5 times that he's competed on Yonkers in his career. He's made miscues in 3 or 4 of them, I should say. So one of which this year was an interference break. But Ron Burke talked about it in his post-race interview. He said he scorched him around that turn.
Right.
And, you know, he's got a rail draw to work with. So, I mean, basically just told Yannick, you don't have to grab up with this guy.
Yeah.
You can just let him push out of there as hard as you want, and he should be fine. Horse is mature, and Lexus Cody has really matured because, you know, he used to make breaks a lot. And now he seems to be putting it all together. And, again, you know, we've seen different trotters kind of take over the best in the division. Right now, I think the hottest trotter right now has to be Lexus Cody.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, just unbelievable mile. And you know something, as great as Yannick Gingras is on every size of a track, I still say that he's got a little bit of an advantage when he goes to a half-mile track. You know what I mean? Because it just suits his style so well.
Yep, we're looking forward to watching him. You know, we're going to see him compete here, I'm sure, in the Breeders' Crown later on this year. And speaking of Breeders' Crown, we've also got some charity challenges going on here, and we've got some stuff going on here locally as well. And tonight's going to be the night that James McDonald is going to be represented here. The Food for Kids Halton is going to be his charity that he's representing for Team Millar. You can see his hashtag Millar on top and get into the conversation as well on social media as well. And obviously, every driver, every owner, every trainer who's participating in this, you know, in this charity event it's all for a great cause, and it all starts here tonight.
Yeah, no, always, anytime that, the harness racing can give back, it's a really, really good thing to do it. And, kudos to everybody that involved, and kudos to the people that put it together, too. I'm sure it's a lot of work.
And again, you can get involved with #Millar on top on social media to get in on the action. So we'll be monitoring that as well. James has a good lineup, a very good lineup as well, as per usual here, but he's going to pick up a couple of drives for the first time as well that I'm sure he's going to be excited about.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is or not, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, plenty to look forward here tonight as well, but we're excited for the action as a whole. I mean, it was a great way to kick off the harness racing slate at Yonkers because we saw so many great local talent there competing. Up Your Dale won a big mile in the other featured trot event. Ghostly Casper, a really good third in that event. I mean, he's done some good things at Yonkers for Ben Bergeron as well. I mean, he's been racing really, really well, and a good showing for him this afternoon.
A horse that, I wouldn't have thought really that a half mile would help him, but he's good on it. Like, I'm not saying that he's any better. He's a fast horse no matter what, but half mile track racing doesn't seem to bother him in the least.
No, and Captain Albano getting it done, I believe, in the Aria Invitational, the headliner for the Pacers. He got the job done from post 6, was able to rebound after what was a grueling trip at Scioto in the Jim Ewart Memorial. But hey, Irvin Hanover benefited off that grueling trip. He was able to capitalize and convert. Look, he knows what it's like to have a tough trip as well. He had a tough trip here in the Canadian Pacing Derby final to just get picked off. But Captain Albano, he's really sharp right now, and Knowles Barnes been heating up over the last few days as well.
Yeah, well, sharp horseman, and he's got some nice power in his barn, so, that's just a combination that they're going to win a lot of races,
Yep, and he came back for his 4-year-old campaign, and he seems to be getting better as the season progresses. Speaking of 4-year-olds, though, I mean, we got to see him qualify yesterday. Nijinsky, he's going to be nearing a return to racing, and Louis Waugh spoke highly about him, and he's excited to sit behind this guy once again, and he said he feels great. I mean, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think that's what I took from the interview was when you, the way that he lit up when you brought up, hey, how was Nijinsky today? You could just tell it was like a kid at Christmas, And honestly, before we'd even talked to Louis there, we just seen the replay, and I said then it's just the all 4 feet are back up off the ground. Like he's not, he's back to being the Nijinsky, that we seen as a 3-year-old.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see him back in action here, and I'm excited to get into tonight's action, though. That's what I'm looking forward to. And speaking of Louis, he's got a major contender here in the race that we're going to start with in race number 2, and that's a preferred pace, and he's going to be back aboard Calico Jack Hanover here in this spot. Obviously, James McDonald picking up that drive last week because Louis was out of town. So Louis going from Remember the Alamo, who's been racing well for Ben Bergeron, looking for a bounce-back performance here tonight. After a quick first quarter, I'd say that probably affected him a little bit. But Calico Jack Hanover never was a factor in that mile last time out, Randy, but he still raced really well, a 53 flat back half.
Yeah, very interesting, The breeding is very similar on these two, Calico Jack and Remember the Alamo, both of them Captain Treachers, one out of an American Ideal mare, the other out of a Dragon Again mare. One's a $200,000 Harrisburg purchase, Remember the Alamo, a $300,000 Harrisburg purchase, and they're both 4 years old. Very interesting, sold at the same sale, same stud. A lot of going on, both bred by Hanover Shoe Farms, I mean, it's just really interesting to see that at this point here they're going to start meeting up one another. I'm going to go Calico Jack Hanover. Yourself?
I went Calico Jack Hanover as well. And to your point, though, both horses seem to be even getting better as a 4-year-old. That's the biggest thing for me as well. So they've grown up and they've matured and they've kept that same speed and even gotten a little faster.
Yeah, I'm going to give advantage to Calico Jack.
Yeah.
Same as you say you're going to go. So let's take a look at the replay on Calico Jack. This is the preferred 2, more or less the same kind of bunch that he's going to see in here, other than Remember the Alamo. Right Mia Rose had a nice win. He got to drop down into non-winners of 15,000. I got him in for 3rd, but he's going to have to face up again against Double and Dasher, Century Komodo, Poseidon, Seal Stir. But look at number 1, Double and Dasher. I got him in for 2nd. He looks like he's got a little bit of poke there too. But Calico Jack and Louis Waugh, I thought it was just a really, really good effort put in by them. And I think that he can come back with Louis Waugh, James McDonald, and I think that he can come back with another big effort in here. Only beaten a length and a quarter, after 2 starts back off of a qualifier after missing, month and a half of time. I just think that this horse is not only good on his game right now, but he's also got the ability. He's fresh. This could be a horse that we should be really, really following, and with the Breeders' Crown coming up, because, like I said, he gave him the time off. It almost like it's going to work out to absolute perfection for Luke Blais.
I thought he made a good account of himself last year in the Breeders' Crown as well. As a 3-year-old, he raced well in the Olymp to make the final, put forth a good effort in the final as well. And this is one, again, like you said, could be peaking towards end of October, and he really had no chance from where he was in the mile last time out. I mean, he went as fast as he could in that back half, and it just didn't work out. I'm expecting a more aggressive approach here. Now that he's got to start at this preferred level and has gotten acclimated to this group, I'm expecting more aggressive approach here from Louis-Philippe Roy, who took that same approach off a bit of a layoff on August 30th, and nobody had a chance in that 49 mile.
No, that's for sure, but definitely a horse that's really, really, coming into his own.
A lot of other horses I think merit respect in here. Remember the Alamo one that we touched on. You're going to rank him in for fourth here tonight. I think he went a little bit too quick, too early, and I think ultimately that did him in late in the stretch.
I agree with you. I think the first quarter was the big part of it, 25 and change, coming out of the 7-hole. My big thing is how are they going to race him tonight? Are they going to race him the same? Are they going to, back him up and make him come on the end of it? Because if you go down, John, to July the 5th at the Meadowlands, he didn't show any leaving ability whatsoever. He wins the race in 49, and check out the last quarter, my friend, 25 and 3. Obviously, remember the Alamo is not a one-dimensional horse.
And obviously, even Dublin Dasher, we saw in the replay, he was loaded with some pace up the inside. I just don't know where he's going to get away in this spot. There's so much speed to his inside. I think that could leave him a bit susceptible. Like if there's panels to chase, he could definitely benefit from it. But we've seen it, time and time again. Against a group like this, it's really hard to outpace horses if you're out of position.
Yeah, and I mean, this is only a 4-year-old, and I kind of thought, I did move him back in for second, but I kind of thought last week, I thought he should have went through that opening on the inside. He raced good, 26-1 on the end of it. No complaints whatsoever. I wouldn't have put him back in for second. But I did think that maybe he should have got his nose out in front. And the only reason that to me would more or less happen is maybe just the competition at this point is just a little bit too tough for this guy up in this class. Because in the non-winners of 15,000, and I think even a couple of the other classes below this, or even a preferred 2, I think that he can really, come up with a big effort. But maybe in the preferred, maybe there's just 1 or 2 that are just slightly ahead of him.
A tough race 2 here in the second leg of the pick 5. We're going to move on to race number 4, and this is going to kick off our stakes action here. She's a great lady elimination, division number 1 here. We've got a field of 6, and I'm really excited to get a chance to see Perfect Thought here on Canadian soil, Lua Deepa, as well as I'm a Lulu. I think the other division is just more so our local fillies. This group, we've got a lot of U.S. invaders here in this spot. I'm really excited to see Lua Deepa, the morning line favorite, a full sister to Looks Good, and Lulu, a homebred for Team Burke. I think she just had, it was a tough trip. She didn't have as much on the end of it in that Pennsylvania Sire Stakes final, but this filly's got some speed, Randy.
Yeah, and there's no doubt she does. I mean, what a 1-2 punch he's coming in here. Both these Sweet Lou fillies are just incredible. I put Lua Deepa in for third, John.
Okay.
I thought it was a really, really good race in the Pennsylvania Sire in the final there, where she finished 5th. Took a rough trip. First quarter, 26-4. Third quarter, 26-2, and she only got beat a length and a half. Good effort there, but it was a big effort anyway. So I'm going to look elsewhere. I'm going to go I'm a Lulu, her stablemate. That's who I'm going to put up on top. We're going to show you the replay from Chester, this final that I was just talking about. So you're going to get a chance to see Lua Deepa in here. She's going to be first over, end up finishing 5th, and I'm a Lulu, who's going to end up finishing 2nd in here for T-Trick. Putting Perfect Thought in for second. Obviously a horse that's racing really good. The reason I'm going T-Trick on this one is because I'm a big fan of T-Trick's, and I think he looks after his horses very, very well. And I find that a lot of times his horses are starting to peak as they come into the late part of the year. So I'm going to say that maybe she's got a little bit more go, and she's just kind of coming into her second half of the season. So I'm a Lulu is the way that I'm going to go with the man in the green and gold.
And she's got a great draw to work with. She should be able to work out a pretty good trip. This is a really good group, though. As we talked about, Perfect Thought She's coming to this event really, really sharp. I mean, this daughter of Perfect Sting, trained by Megan Scrand, it's a stable horse. She's razor sharp. I mean, Scott Zeron has spoken highly about this filly when he got a chance to sit behind her earlier on, and she captured the New Jersey Classic final. She's a really handy filly, and I think, you know, those efforts over the last couple of weeks gave them the confidence to try tougher company this evening. So she's going to be a main factor here as well.
Now, the filly that was racing against Perfect Thought down on the bottom, this Perfect BG, wasn't she up here?
Yep, that's the one.
Was she Beaton or who?
Tony Beaton.
Tony Beaton. So where did she go? Because she was crackers good.
She captured the New Jersey Sire Stakes final. I mean, she was dominant over there. I don't believe she's raced again. I think I'm not sure if we're gonna see her again, or maybe just bring her back as a 3-year-old. She shocked a lot of people, though. She's got some gears.
She does.
Yeah.
Now, was she a Perfect Sting?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sting.
interesting.
Yeah, she caught our attention right away.
She did.
Here when we got to see her locally, and she was doing the bulk of her racing there in that New Jersey Sire Stakes over at the Meadowlands. Fabulous Hanover, though, one that we're all going to slot underneath. That was a nice performance by her in the Champlain. You know, that effort, I think, also gave the Connections the confidence to try her here in the stakes event. When that seam opened up late in the mile, Dea was already in full gear. This filly had to get started up again, and she responded well.
That's what I mean. Like, I mean, in you know, she seen the inside opening, and she took right off and went for it. I kind of found with Dublin Dasher, he didn't take that opening and go for it. You know what I mean? So that was kind of where I was going. But I think that Fabulous Hanover, you know, maybe she, you know, surprised a few of us. I know you and I did have her as part of it, but I don't know. I can't remember if you had her up on the win. I don't think I did. But, you know, Nancy Tactor, driven by Louis Waugh, coming up here with nice lines. She still went off at almost 4-1.
Yeah, really good showing by her. And again, this is a really deep group. I mean, I'm excited to see Lua Deepa. Like I said, I've loved what I've seen in her tries in Pennsylvania, but this is also going to be a big test, and I think she's got a big opportunity to bounce back. I just don't know what the trip scenario is going to look like here in this spot. There's a lot of fillies who've got speed to her inside. Top 5 make the final. I mean, it's going to be an easy opportunity for a lot of them to make that final next week, especially with only one being out.
Starting of the pick 6 carryover in this race, John. We had a carryover from last night, $8,300 plus. Do you see single in this first leg? Because I don't.
I went too deep. I went with both Burke fillies here in this. It was tough for me to leave out even a filly like Perfect Thought, who I think is going to benefit from being such a handy filly. But ultimately, I just landed on the 2 Burke trainees here this evening. We're going to move on from this stakes elimination to another one in race number 6, and we're going to kick off the Metro eliminations here. And we've got a field of 6, and all eyes are going to be on the 6-horse Bojangles. Nice group, though, that we've got here. Randy Alpapi, who obviously went that record mile momentarily before his stablemate was able to beat him. We'll hear from him just in a few moments. But that was a good effort by him. Fragment coming in, capturing the New York Sire Stakes final. But there's some other ones here locally that have impressed us. Sweet Love and Lewin, Redland Rocket Man, 15-1 morning line. He's going to try his hand here at the Metro. You've raved about Bojangles all season long for good reason, just like everybody else. Is the undefeated streak in your eyes just going to keep on going here in this spot, or did you pick him here in this spot?
Well, I mean, my heart hopes that the undefeated streak goes, but no, I picked against him. Big reason is because of you.
I don't know if that's a good idea tonight.
Well, you said you interviewed Doc Moore after he raced there, and what did Doc Moore tell you? He's getting a week off. Week off, no harness. That's what Moore said. So I'm going to play against him. You know, I think it's the right thing to do for the horse, you know, to keep the longevity going. You got to get him freshened up, you know, like he's got a lot of starts at this point, you know, he's still got some deep races left to go. So I think it's a smart move on Moore's part, but I'm going to use it to play against him. I'm going to use it to play against him with a horse that I really think is, you know, pretty special kind of horse, and that's Redland Rocket Man. So let's take a look at Redman Locket Ran. I think that this one and Sweet Love and Lou, that is also in this race, I would consider these horses to be locked in, John. So Sweet Love and Lou in the deuce with James McDonald, and Redland Rocket Man with Bobby McClure. And he's locked in way at the back of the pack there. You can see he can't really quite find his way through there either. James has given up. I mean, there's just no place for him to go. Bobby's still going to move forward here on the end of it when he finds the clean room. The week before, 2 weeks before, in the gold final where Bojangles was a winner and Redland Rocket Man finished third in there. That Redland Rocket, man, that was a first over effort. Only got beat a length and a half. Now, this is the Bojangles in his last start, August the 29th. And like I said, this race here, Redland Rocket Man, he comes first over on this horse. You can see him out here with Louis, and he don't really give in. Now, I'm not, like, Bob's got everything shut down right now, and he's got Jody exactly where he wants him. It's just a matter of, you know, how good is this guy going to be? And again, a first over trip, I'm not saying that that's his way. I think he's a better horse coming off of a helmet and having this huge kick on the end of it. So, you know, perfect storm. I'm thinking I'm going to go Redland Rocket Man. I say him and Sweet Lovin' Lou were both locked in. Redland Rocket Man is the way that I'm going to go.
And first over, but he left out hard for the first time in his young career. I mean, he's had outside draws before. We heard John Pentland kind of speaking about that he's a little bit hot at times. He tinkered with the bridle. I think Louis done a really good job bringing him along, especially as he started to get a little bit warm in some of those outings. Look, this is a big step up for him. He's taken on the likes of Bojangles, but this is going to be a deeper group as a whole. But he's got ability. He's got the late speed. He's going to really have to pick up his game here, but he's going to need to work out a trip, I'd say, in this spot.
Where did you go?
I went to Bojangles.
Okay,
I just said...
Now, tell me about Al Poppy. Now, I watched him when he won in 49 that day. And this is just my opinion, but in my opinion, he was driving Yannick more than Yannick was driving him.
Yeah, and he's going to be pushing out of there, I think.
Speed horse.
Yeah. I think there's a good chance he's going to work out a pretty good trip, but for me, I'm curious to see how Fragment's going to obviously stack up against this group. I mean, he's been crushing in the New York Sire Stakes. Excited to see Sweet Lovin' Lou as well. I mean, this is a colt who I think has raced really well each and every one of his starts. He looks a little bit keyed up at times as well. He put in some steps earlier on in that around that first turn. I got a chance to speak to trainer Dan Legacy, and he said that they adjusted the bit. I think they went to a jawbreaker.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what they went to, and he says it might have maybe impacted him around that turn. That's what he was discussing with me, but I'm not sure if maybe they made an adjustment to the bit or not tonight. But this is a colt who's coming in off some sharp efforts, and he's got a good draw to work with. So, again, a big step up for him, but he's shown ability early on.
It's a tough race.
Very tough race. But all eyes are going to be on Bojangles, looking to keep the undefeated streak alive. But, I mean, if it's a Doc Moore trainee, no harness or not, I'm expecting him to still have him in some
absolutely.
tip-top
I'm just
shape.
using it as an excuse.
I would say, listen, you got to take shots.
Absolutely.
And I think this is a great opportunity to take a shot, and it would be nice to see Redline Rocket Man get the job done as well. I mean, this is a colt I really like.
My whole life, I've always been accused of never listening, and here I am. I listen to you.
It's about time. Thank God the earpiece never fell out during the interview. All right, we're going to move on to race number 8 here. We're going to look at the other She's a Great Lady elimination. And we spoke about one division being mostly the U.S. shippers. This is going to be primarily local talent. Morning line favorite Gentilly. Not far behind is the 2-horse Dea. Both of them coming off some really good efforts as of late as well. But there's one filly in particular that you have always spoke highly of, and she keeps taking on tougher company, and that's Sangria Summer. Another big test for this Kevin Ben trainee.
Yeah, big test. I'm going to throw her up on top. Let's take a look at the replay for Sangria Summer, and this is the Champlain in her last start. I would say locked in effort, odds of 40-1, but I thought it was a good effort, and I like her. I like the barn that she comes out of. I think that Kevin Ben's stable is racing really, really good right now, and sometimes when a barn is racing good, it races good no matter what horses you put on the track, and I think that this one's got a lot of talent. I love the job that Trevor Henry has done with this one. You can see her coming down through the middle towards the back of the pack, and really, of all the horses at the back, she's really the only one that has serious wheels. Now she's going to get herself onto the ticket as she busts on by Dougie, and again, every time Trevor asks her, she moves forward, and I think that she's going to be in position one of these times where, he's not going to have to do a whole lot with her. Things are just going to kind of come fall in his kind of lap, and especially in a situation like this where she's going to go off as big odds, and there's going to probably be a lot of action in here. I would say there is anyway, and that might just benefit her big time, especially if he can get her way in a really, really sweet kind of a spot. So, asking a lot for Trevor Henry and Sangria Summer and Kevin Ben, but I think that the parts are all there.
Yeah, and she pushed out of there from the inside last time out out. Obviously, took that shuffle, but still had some pace on the end of it. Look, the fillies who finished ahead of her, 1, 2, 3, I would say they're probably a step ahead of her right now. I mean, they've been racing tough all season, especially here provincially, and then Fabulous Hanover. We got a chance to see her for the second week in a row. But look, Gentilly, last time we saw Yannick aboard her, she broke her maiden in that dominant score in the Eternal Cam Nation. You have to figure that it's going to be all systems go here for Yannick from post 6 and, try and take down this group. I really like Dea to bounce back again. I think she really needed that trip last time out. Outside draw to work with, a couple of scratches, and she got towed into it. Yeah, Fabulous Hanover found a seam and started up and beat her. But I think she needed a nice, easy trip where she finished up strong on the end of it, coming into a stakes elimination. What about you?
Oh, I agree. I mean, it's a long season for these things. So, every once in a while, if you can slip one in, real easy kind of a trip like Jody gave her in her last, then she's going to respond to that big time. I threw her in for third. It in behind Gentilly. And then I'm also going to use, did you use TH? Check me out. I threw her in on the bottom.
I did throw in on the, and for third. Yeah. You know what? Maybe I should have ranked Sangria Summer a little bit higher. I think you're the only one maybe even using her, I think, on that board. But I thought it was a good effort. But again, this is a big step up. But she's going to have every chance to make the final, I'd say, in this group. We're going to move on to race number 9. And this is the second Metro Pace elimination here. And we're really excited to see this son of Stay Hungry here locally, Frantic Hanover. We have one undefeated colt coming into the Metro Elims in Bojangles. We're going to get a chance to see another undefeated colt coming into these eliminations in Frantic Hanover. I tell you what, Randy, this guy's been eye-catching. I know the margin of victories haven't all been big, but the efforts have been super.
Oh, yeah. Unreal. Yeah, really, really, very, like John said, eye-catching. That's definitely the way that we're going to talk about this guy. So Frantic Hanover is the way that I'm going to go in this race. Till the cows come home, I'm going to throw him in for second. And Super Champ Hanover coming in here, from the Travis Alexander barn. Haven't seen much of him. Going to throw him in for third. But let's take a look at the replay from Frantic Hanover from August the 21st down at the Meadows. Now, this same day, if I'm not mistaken, is the day that Al Papi went in 49. This guy wins in 50 flat. But it's a difference of the way that they do it. Like I said, the other guy, to me, there was a lot of speed being shown. I don't know if Yannick was, at times rating him, or the horse just seemed like he was kind of blasting away. This guy's different. This guy's doing it a completely different way. He's bringing a completely different, persona to the game as opposed to the other one, and as opposed to a lot of colts. The only one that I've seen this year that even remotely reminds me of this guy is Bojangles. And I really don't know what's going to happen there because Bojangles got a week off.
And obviously Frantic Hanover, he followed up that dominant score with a world record mile in 49-1. What I love about Frantic Hanover this so far this year is he's done it every which way. Second over trip, doing it off cover. First over, cutting the mile. He looks comfortable doing anything you ask of him. Look, Bojangles, we haven't seen that same level of versatility. That doesn't mean he doesn't have that in his arsenal. It's a little bit different when you're the clear standout in a division. You're going to race on the lead. You're going to get that kind of respect, and that's typically what Doc wants out of his pupils. But I think the versatility is going to really bode well for Frantic Hanover because, again, as you start getting later on to the season, the competition is going to get tougher and tougher, and having the ability to race or drive a versatile colt is going to work wonders or pay dividends in a big way. I love that he can do it any which way for Timmy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Great job once again by T-Trick. Boy, I tell you, just when you think that the guy's going to stop amazing you, he just turns right around and starts amazing you again.
A sweep of 4 series installed as the 2-5 favorite. It's going to be awfully tough to beat this guy here in this Metro Pace Elims. Yeah, it's going to be, again, you can turn a pick 6 sequence into maybe even a pick 4 sequence, depending on some of the legs. You've got Bojangles in one of them. You've got Frantic Hanover closing it out. So this is a pick 6 that I wouldn't want to spend too much money and maybe try and take a shot in one of those legs, or you got to take a stand and try and maybe maximize the return there as well. Maybe play it for a little bit more of a volume. But I'm excited to see this colt compete in race number 9. And just one race later, Andy, we're going to get to see a final here this evening, the Milton Stakes final, the Grade 2 here for pacing fillies and mares, and I'm really, really excited to watch these two go at it again. Twinbee Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover here on Canadian soil. Twinbee Joe Fresh installed as the morning line favorite. I think you could go either way. I think right now advantage goes to Sylvia. we could see the graphic there. Obviously, I mean, their resumes are so identical, Randy. I mean, these are just two, I think we can agree that these are two superstar mares.
Yeah, like I said, we'll remember these two for the rest of our lives, bud. You know what I mean? We
Big
will.
time.
And the biggest reason, not only because of what they've done as individuals, but this rivalry that they've had going. And I really like the idea that, Sylvia started out, maybe number one in the rivalry, then Twin Bee Joe Fresh overtook her last year as, being the number one in the rivalry. And now it looks like it, you might lean towards Sylvia, or at least it's even. Now it's really getting interesting.
The best part for me is I'll never forget the way Sylvia qualified leading up to her career debut. And I remember watching from home, and Chad really liked her in that spot. I mean, he picked her on top. I think she went off at a decent price, between 7 and 9 to 1. But, obviously we're so accustomed to seeing qualifiers. And if a guy's urging on a horse a little bit, you say, they don't have enough left. Had nothing to do with her not having enough left or anything. We didn't know that she was just a lazy filly.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the importance of just knowing stuff. And obviously that's why, things like paddock interviews and speaking to connections are so important. Here she was thinking, it was a lackluster qualifying effort. Meanwhile, this was a filly who had more gears than anybody else in the division. And look what she's gone on to do throughout her career.
Yeah, eventual horse of the year.
Yeah, it's amazing. Both of them, right? I mean, last year, Twin Bee Joe Fresh, horse of the year. Chris Ryder, again, he's had so many close calls in terms of horse of the year. And this is one that he was able to get the job done with last year. Obviously, him and Dex co-owning this mare together, I think, is even more special. Obviously, Dex calling Chris like his American father. And, Chris obviously considering Dexter like a son as well. So just, everybody involved with these two mares. I mean, even from the Stacys, Bob's done a phenomenal job guiding her throughout her first few years of her campaign. And Tim Tetrick, anytime he's gotten the opportunity to sit behind her, he's really done a great job as well. So.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, just, both of them incredible horses brought along, through an incredible barns in the Stacys and Chris Ryder, and just an amazing job done, with the drivers. And that's why the difference when you see a Tim Tetrick or a Bobby McClure or Dexter Dunn with Twin Bee Joe Fresh, these horses, they've been racing these horses every start, and they're still at the very top level. And that's the big difference. They're not burning these things out early. These things are still, the number one horses.
And we'll get a chance to see some of their most recent efforts here. We're going to get a look at Sylvia Hanover's most recent start. And for a second, it looked like Kobe's Gigi was going to maybe get away on them. But Sylvia Hanover, we see those ears pinned back. And she was game. She said, no, I'm going to get this job done.
Yeah, unbelievable. Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, she does know where the wire is, eh? Doesn't seem like, if you're anybody, like even James here, like he's got to be thinking to himself at one point, he's got her, but here she comes. She just keeps coming and coming and coming, and she gets the job done. So obviously going in here with a really, really good effort in that September 5th race. Now let's take a look at the September 5th qualifier for Twin Bee Joe Fresh down at M1.
You can see there she is sitting. That's it. She's sitting third there with Pat Ryder aboard this mare, and you're going to see the wheels on the end of it once he gets a chance to angle her out. I don't know if he's ever sat behind her. I think this is the first time Pat Ryder's ever gotten a chance to sit behind her. I don't even think he's gotten a chance to sit behind her at the barn. So this must have been a huge thrill. I'd actually have to double check with Pat there, but
25 flat.
Look at the body language on him and this mare. Yeah. This mare is and
look at the weight she's carrying.
Yeah.
Halfway through her season. Look at the weight she's still carrying. Great barns.
That's a great prep coming into this effort again. Look at that final quarter, Andy. 25 flat. I'd say she's ready to go. And I went against Sylvia here in this spot. I went to Twin Bee Joe Fresh. I'm going to opt to single her. I just think that they're so evenly matched. I give her the edge for the post position tonight. I think that she's capable of a big bounce back effort. I know Sylvia Hanover's the now mare. I'm going to try Twin Bee Joe Fresh to get back into the winner's circle, but I'll tell you what, it was a really tough decision.
Yeah, okay, so who's going to go off as favorite, and what's the other one going to pay?
I think you could see the similar odds here that you see in the morning lines. I could see 3-5 in even money or 3-5.
And who goes off as favorite?
I'd have to say Sylvia's going to go off as favorite. I really do think she'll go off as the chalk. I think she's had the advantage. She's at least got a race tightener under her belt, but you never know. That's just the way I see it. We're going to move on to race number 11, and this kicks off the late double. We've got 12 this evening. And we've got a nice group here as well. A couple horses that I know you were really high on coming into their most recent tries. You've liked Arbitrage Hanover over the last couple of weeks. You've also liked It's Major Major. Which direction did you go?
Arbitrage.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him there. It's major. I'm going to throw him in for second, so I haven't exactly given up the ship on him. You know, I thought he raced very good first up in his last. Rene Barassa going to send in a bridle change on It's Major Mayor. Open to blinkers, but let's take a look at Arbitrage Hanover. This is a good effort. He's going to finish 6th, only beaten 2 in the preferred 2. But if you go down the line below this, August the 30th, I mean, just as good this time, 49 flat, and to finish second to Calico Jack Hanover, and he was flying on the end of it. But again, has good wheels in here for Billy Davis. Just not really going to be be able to catch these horses, but I think that it was a good effort. I like the way that he's been racing, and like I said, if I showed you the one the week before, he was amazingly good. So Arbitrage Hanover, I'm going to give him the slight nod over It's Major.
I went the same direction as you. I think he's got a good draw to work with. I think this is the time where we're going to see an aggressive approach from Billy tonight, because this is a much better spot for him. You want to talk about good efforts? I think you could even date back to the July 19th effort in the preferred. How good was he that night before he went out to PI to compete in the Gold Cup and Saucer Trials? I mean, this is a horse I think is ready for a big effort tonight.
Really, two real standouts, this 5 and 6. But you know, I'm not putting this other horse that I have in for third quite yet in their category. But you want to talk about a now horse? How about Rochester Flash?
Big time.
Is his form amazingly good right now?
Got beat by a classier horse last time out, but this is a horse who's climbing up the ranks and being competitive with some really good ones. And we want to talk speaking about classy horses, race number 12, I think the highlight's going to be around this classy fella, and that's American History. This is obviously our jackpot high five wager, over $170,000 in climbing. That pool, hopefully it continues to climb ahead of maybe the next couple of weeks when we've got some big stakes weekends coming up. But this is American History. I mean, he's coming off a nice qualifying trial on August 29th. Has he ever seen a level as low as this in quite some time? I mean, this is a spot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, you think to yourself when you go into this, he hasn't raced since July the 12th. Is he good to go? Well, I say good to go. 51-4, single qualifier into this guy. And look at the body language on Dale Spence. I mean, he is not asking this guy to do anything, right up to this point. For your reference, that horse on his back, she's not a bad horse either, Sylvia Hanover, staying right with him. But again, look at the body language on Dale Spence. Gives a little look to the inside there. Absolutely no worries whatsoever. Bobby isn't either. I mean, obviously Bobby can come out and take a poke at him, but he's not looking to do that, and neither was Dale. I would say that American History just paced a mile in sub 52 as easy as peasy.
Yep.
So I think he's ready to go in this very, very bottom class.
Yeah, sweep of threes here, and nice to see this guy. Obviously, back in Mackenzie Spence's barn as well. They did a nice job reprogramming this guy, right? I mean, he was a horse who was always wanting to go down the road, and he's either going to bottom them out or tire. They did a really good job reprogramming him, and he was a horse who was just so lethal off the pace, and then Dale started to develop some confidence with him, and he could do anything you asked of him. Went into Dave Maneri's barn and just never could quite catch that form that we saw him in some starts prior, but I think he needs to work his way back up, and this is a good start for him to get some confidence back and be the horse that we know he's capable of being.
Yeah, and on the bookends, he was in Moreau's barn, big stable.
Yep.
Then he went to the Mackenzie's barn, smaller stable. Then he goes to Maneri's barn, bigger stable. Really, technically, I think he's the kind of horse that really likes the small stable, the hands-on, the being treated special kind of a horse, So he does race very well for the Spences. Good luck with him tonight, guys.
Obviously, we've got many stakes events here going on, some eliminations as well as a final, but we've also got a nice wagering opportunity here. We've got a pick 6 carryover, and you're going to provide a ticket here, but you're going to go one single here, so you're going to try and turn this into a pick 5, and that single is going to be Frantic Hanover, but you took some value shots here in some other legs.
Yeah, I mean, I know I should probably, I probably went a little bit too steep on this one, but I just found it really tough if not. So, basically starting it out 3 deep, using both the Burke horses and Perfect Thought in that first elim. Was going to be using King's in the spotlight up on top. I was going to take a chance with her and put her up on top, but now I'm going to have Grit and Grace and Caviar and Crackers in here, and then Redland Rocket Man with the Bojangles, obviously, Smiling Dancer was actually going to key this guy. I think he's going to come up with a big effort in here tonight, but I'm really interested where this horse coming up from Rito into Gary Murner's barn. He looks a little, could be a little bit dicey. Race 8, tough bunch in here. Pretty well used the logicals through Sangria Summer. Again, just didn't have the guts to go single on her. But in this race here, I am going to single Frantic Hanover.
If you get a couple of those prices across, I think you're in really good shape for a nice payout. Here, I'm going to go a lot of singles here. In race number 5, I'll single Grit and Grace. Race number 6, I'll go all in on Bojangles. I found race 7 to be tricky. I am going to toss Smiling Dancer. I know he's capable, but he doesn't have the same level of pop maybe towards the that final 8 that I'm accustomed to seeing from him in the past. I'll single Dea and I'll single Frantic Hanover. A pretty boring ticket, but I really do see this, some of these races being very formful, so I feel confident in spending $8. If you do think there are going to be some prices, though, you're going to get rewarded because you'll knock some money out, like the approach that you're going to take this evening. So two different approaches.
Two different approaches. I like yours better.
All right.
It's easier to count to 8 than mine.
All right, we're going to kick off the night here with the national anthem on the Saturday night program, and we'll be back here as we preview the Saturday night card.